My team and I were just going through the most recent news that's come out from some of the big pharmaceutical companies. Our Prime Minister here in Canada was speaking about it as well, with the news of a possible vaccine, and I underline possible because this is not 100%. Pfizer is saying that it's probably about 90% effective, that the COVID-19 vaccine, it's looking like it's 90% effective. Johnson & Johnson is coming up with their own numbers. But what I really wanted to talk about is consumer confidence. It's an interesting thing that what happens and what is actually happening like 2 days after. This article was from November 10th here in the Toronto Star, November 10th. And what started to happen very, very quickly in the markets, in the real estate market, but even also I want to touch on the stock market. So first and foremost in the stock market, we noticed for the travel industry, many of the stocks jumped up by 15 to 30%, just with hearing that there's a possible vaccine. From a real estate perspective, we've seen Smart Centers, one of the biggest commercial REITs, commercial developers in our country. It's the guys with the little penguins. You see them with all the Walmarts and stuff like that. Their stock went up 15%, less than 24 hours of this news coming out about the vaccine. Why does this happen in real estate? Well, there's three major factors that drive the real estate market, and I want to touch on those right now. First and foremost, is job security. Well, if you feel secure, and I feel secure, and Luke and Juju and everyone feels secure that they're going to have a job long term, they're going to have income, they start to consider, the conversations start to happen at home. Honey, should we get a bigger home? Should we move into a better school district? Those conversations start happening very, very quickly once you know that your job is going to be secure. Number two, a huge factor that drives the real estate market is population growth. What we have always here in the Greater Toronto area specifically, and it's right across the world, but in the Greater Toronto area, what we've been able to hang our hat on for the last 40, 50, 60 years is population growth. So it's already forecasted, as of this recording right now, 2020 November, for the next 10 years, we're forecasting, Immigration Canada's forecasting, 3.2 million people coming into the Greater Toronto area. Look, I mean, before the pandemic hit, we had an epidemic. And that was the fact that there was a housing shortage, massive housing shortage. It's going to get worse. And I hope my boys Nikki and Steven and Dre, they keep this recording, and we'll make sure we play it out in a year from now. Mark my words, once the borders open up again, and we have students coming back into the Greater Toronto area, we have immigrants coming back into the Greater Toronto area, we're going to see the effects of a housing shortage, because builders weren't able to even put a shovel in the ground for the first few months of the lockdown. Applications weren't being looked at, zoning permits, all of that was not being looked at. And so where pre-COVID, for every 250,000 people that were coming here, we needed 50,000 households. On a good year, we got to 37,000. There was always that shortage. But now, because Immigration Canada wants to speed up the process, not only catch up to what we lost in terms of immigration in 2020, but actually increase it, beat that original number, we're actually going to have much more of a shortage. And then that talks to the third point, that the biggest factor that affects real estate values is supply. Again, because of the fact that builders weren't able to put shovels in the ground, the builders weren't able to get applications approved. The supply is limited. Right now, at the time of this recording, downtown Toronto, because the borders were closed, the students weren't coming in, Airbnb, guys and gals that had their properties on Airbnb went into the long-term market. There's been an oversupply of downtown condo rentals. You guys have heard me say this 1,000 times, guys, that there's the macro GTA market, but then there's at least 800 micro markets in the GTA. And so when it comes to the downtown market right now, condo market right now, yeah, there's a little bit of an oversupply. It's going to be all absorbed by these 3.2 million people coming into the GTA. So, if you were thinking about buying, selling, or investing, and if you were on the fence, this doesn't mean that you should jump over and do it right now. Rates are low. You're going to start to hear a lot more about interest rates coming up in the near future. Don't jump in without getting more education, and just leave us a comment. Let me know what you think about this video and all the other content that we've been putting out.